we could be out at the club, it was dark, whatever. Even outside, when my friends and I got into our Uber, he pulled me over to the side and was like kissing me and introducing himself to my friends and this, that, and the third. So I just didn't feel the need to be like, oh, by the way, hi, I'm Donnie, I'm a man. Just had a man pick me up for a date. He asked me if I was a man in the car. I said yes. This man turns around and takes me back home. Had he asked me over text, it would have been less jarring, and it also saves embarrassment or fear for the other person.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So I was actually sent this series of videos from the wonderful world of TikTok. I have not watched them at all. We're going to watch them authentically together. And then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions on this entire conversation.
Just had a man pick me up for a date. He asked me if I was a man in the car. I said yes. This man turns around and takes me back home. Now, this is a very prime example of somewhat fragile masculinity, but also dishonesty. Not on my end, but on the end of the suitor.
There's toxic masculinity, now there's fragile masculinity. I'm confused. I'm confused.
I met him last Friday at a club when I was out with my girlfriends. At some point, we duck off, we're talking, we're chatting, we're dancing, we're like really having a good time. We're throwing banter back and forth, we're being flirty, all these things. Mind you, I am flat-chested. I am not a woman. I'm just a very beautiful man. Proceeds to kiss me, XYZ, right? Has been texting me every day since last Friday when I gave him my number. He proceeds to tell me in the car, I don't really know how to ask this, or, I really just don't know how to bring this up, but are you a man? And I looked at him and I was like, yes, I am. I'm just a very feminine man.
Okay, hold on. Pause. Flag on the play. Okay, hold on a second. First of all, me personally looking, I would be able to maybe pick that out, right? But this is the thing. It's a club. Nightclubs are dark. I don't know if the man was inebriated. And obviously you're not presenting yourself as a man. Like, look at the hair, the makeup, the nails, and you're talking about being flat-chested, but not just because a woman is a woman biologically means that she is voluptuous, right? Like, there's some women who are indeed flat-chested who are still biological women. So that's not even like a part of the conversation. But you're saying this as if you look like a man, walking around, and that, you're so shocked that he had no idea, as if you are not presenting yourself as a woman.
He pulls over and he's like, I just want to sit over and just like kind of talk about this for a second. I've never been in this position before, so I'm just like not really sure how to handle it. I had an inkling of a thought, but I didn't want to ask you and you be offended if you were not. However, it's just not something that I'm into particularly.
That seems very respectable. This person is saying, like, okay, he found it out and pulls over and is like, hey, I just want to talk to you. Like, this is not really my thing. That seems very, like, respectful. That seems very considerate. That seems empathetic, because that could have gone a whole nother way. Especially because you said the first time y'all met that y'all kissed and stuff like that. That could have gone a whole different direction. So the fact that this person, pulled to the side and was like, hey, this is not really my thing, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
And I think that's part of a bigger conversation as it relates to Black men being interested in just feminine energy, period. He proceeded to apologize and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just felt like I needed to get this off my chest and at least just ask. But if I'm being honest, I was just like, okay, yeah, like that's fine. Like, no harm, no foul. Like, it's all good. He's like, is it okay if I just, turn around and take you back home? I'm like, absolutely, yes, please. We sat there in silence as he did a U-turn and literally dropped me back off. But it goes to show that sexuality truly is a spectrum. And while people may not be into whatever parts people have or whatever the case may be, people are just attracted to energy, period. Which is okay. That's totally fine. I completely respect that. I'm not one of those gays that are like, I'm going to go get the trade and do this, that, and the third. That's really not my vibe. And if you are, I mean, pop off queen, do your big one. But I guess my biggest problem is if you had an inkling of a thought or you felt any type of way, you should have quite literally just asked and been honest from the very beginning. Here, I spent an hour and a half getting ready for a date, not really into it, but like I was like open to, just seeing what.
Now you wasn't into it. Okay, you see, this is the stuff I can't take. Okay? If we gonna keep it real, we gotta keep it all the way real. First of all, if we just want to be honest, like I said, nightclubs are dark. I don't know what the lighting is like. I don't know what he saw. I don't know what you were wearing. Like, I don't know the full, picture of whatever it is. To me, this person has very strong chiseled features that are more prone to be seen on a man. However, you do have women who have very strong chiseled features as well, a very toned, athletic build. Like, we see it all the time in different sports and stuff like that. So it's not like it's uncommon for women to have like a sort of like kind of like androgynous vibe to them. But the fact is that this person was kind enough to even bring up the conversation, to express himself to you, to have the conversation with you face to face, take you carefully home, like all those things. And to now try to like play the situation as if, you're some, grandiose victim when you had been texting this person for a week and never decided to disclose that information just in case. You can't assume that somebody already knows. Like, when you're in this predicament, I feel like you have to state your claim. You can't just assume or make an assumption that the other person just must know because you feel like it's obvious. I think that's very dangerous.
Happens, what would, transpire out of the whole situation. And yet, here we are. Now, this is a first for me. I've never had this happen to me before. This is something new to me. I'm not humbled in the slightest because I'm a bad bitch. Look at me. Like, hello? And I know this is not in vain. I know that God has a partner for me out in the world, wherever he may be. But that was crazy as. And for my theys, my girls, my dolls out there in the world, y'all be safe out there. Truly, just be safe.
I don't see the danger. I'm just being honest. I don't see the danger for everybody that you just called out. I see the danger for the men who are, out there in the dating world and are expecting somebody to be transparent with them, and that they can be caught up in situations that they're in something that they never signed up for. I think that's the danger.
Because for a slight moment in time, I was actually kind of scared for a minute. But yeah, y'all, I don't know. Am I tripping? Y'all let me know what y'all think.
You're tripping. And what were you scared for again when this man, asked you a question and you answered, and he pulled to the side of the road and just wanted to talk to you kindly and apologized and drove you back to your home safely? What were you scared of again?
Because I've quite literally never experienced anything like this before. Like, oh my God, I'm like kind of floored. But anyway, on to the next, babes. That's fine. To Mr. Sir, good luck to you. And yeah, I don't know, y'all. It's just so funny. I'm like literally just sitting here in silence, like, oh my God, like I need to like talk to someone about this. But anyway. Okay, first and foremost, I did not expect all of this discourse in my comment section. I didn't. But now that I have y'all here and I'm not as emotional or shaken up, let's clear some things up here, okay?
What would you have been shaken up about? What would you have had to been emotional about? I thought you said that you weren't even that into it. So what would you have been shaken up, nervous of, stressed out about, worried? Like, what would have been the cause for those feelings is what I'm really trying to figure out.
Number one, a lot of people have been like, you should just be grateful that you got home safely. I am very much grateful that I got home safely. I'm very grateful for that, okay? Number two.
Looking at this person with no makeup on and with the hair and all the accessories and nails, okay, I have to be honest. I don't know if it would be so obvious to me that this is a man. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it real. Just looking at everything and the mannerisms and everything, I don't know. Maybe a very athletic woman. Maybe, just because of the era that we're in, you'd have to kind of like do a double take. But I don't know.
I get a lot of comments like this. You should have told him ahead of time. Now, with that, here's the thing. While, we could be out at the club, it was dark, whatever, even outside when my
Just like I said, okay, I didn't watch this video. That's what I'm saying. They were in the club and it was dark. So, it's even harder to make that claim or understand exactly what that situation is.
my friends and I got into our Uber, he pulled me over to the side and was like kissing me and introducing himself to my friends and this, that, and the third. So I just didn't feel the need to be like, oh, by the way, hi, I'm Donnie, I'm a man. No one's gonna do that. Y'all don't go up to people and be like, oh my God, hi, my name is Shaquila and I'm a woman.
Why did the name have to be Shaquila? Different conversation for a different day. Also, women who are natural born women don't have to walk up to men and tell them that they're women because they already are that. But would I say that a woman has to tell a man maybe if she's pregnant and he doesn't know and can't tell? Does she have to tell a man if she's married and doesn't have a ring on her finger? Does she have to tell a man that she's in a relationship? Like, yes, she does. So it's the same exact kind of thing. Like, you have to be transparent with somebody who is interested in you or, trying to, progress things with you in a relationship and they don't know your full story. That's very important for you and for the other person. For everybody's safety.
Like, be for real. Like, be serious, okay? All in all, I'm not saying that he handled the situation badly.
You said that you were emotional. You said you were worked up. You said that you were worried. You said that you were scared for a second. You said that, everybody from the community has to be careful out there because it's dangerous. So what do you mean that you're not saying that he didn't handle it correctly? What are you talking about? That's exactly what you were stating.
My biggest qualm with all of this is that we had been texting for a week. When he mentioned in the car that he had an inkling, he said, I had an inkling probably a few days ago. However, I just didn't know how to bring it up and not be offensive.
Hence why he waited until he saw you like a man with integrity and asked you face to face. Instead of asking you something like that on the phone where things can be misconstrued and it can seem like he's not a good guy, he obviously was not trying to risk the potential of something that he thought it could be with asking you a question because he obviously was not. You're acting like this man says, oh, I've been knew. I knew and, I just wanted to waste your time. No, he really didn't know. He was like, something seems a little off. Not the same night, not even a couple days after that. It was well, into the week that he was like, hold on, something's telling me something's a little off. Maybe you gave him your social media, whatever it is, and he's like, something's not right.
Which to me, I'm like, well, if you had a thought or an inkling of anything, you quite literally could have just texted me and just asked that. And I think I cleared this up with another young lady in my comment section where I said, had he asked me over text, it would have been less jarring. But to have me in a car with him and then ask me, if I was an actual woman, I would have told him to take me home, period. That's it. Now, I have no ill will towards this gentleman. I'm not making this to be like, he's wrong and he blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. The point is, communication is key. If you are unsure.
That was not the point of the video. Okay, I know that you're making a new point of the video, but the point of that video was kind of like, everybody be safe out there and stuff like that. It was not just pinpointing communication. We're clarifying this now.
About anything, someone you're seeing, someone you're dating, and you want to ask questions, as difficult as they may be, it's important to have those conversations ahead of time. It saves you embarrassment, and it also saves embarrassment or fear for the other person on the other side. You know what I mean? And to you homophobic fucks out here in the world, let me tell y'all something. The girls who are like, oh my God, now they want the straights to want them too, and blah, 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 blah. Pause, babe. A lot of y'all will be surprised that your straight counterparts and your men do want us femme gays. They do want the trans girls. They do want the dolls. Like, let's be for real.
And this is a point that I was going to get into as well. I don't understand the ideology just as a person in general, why you want to convince somebody who doesn't want you to want you, right? And that goes in, like, if you are whoever you are, right, you would want somebody who's genuinely okay with wanting you, not somebody that you have to bamboozle into a situation or bamboozle into a relationship or coerce them to want to be in a relationship with you. That's not authentic. So I don't see the need for even that comment, right? Like, oh, well, y'all be surprised how much of y'all straight men actually want us. Like, it becomes this competitive nature for absolutely no reason. Like, I just think that's so foolish. And again, I think that in itself is dangerous rhetoric, because why should that be the chase for you? Like, when it can literally lead to harm. Like, I don't see the need for that at all. I really don't. And, you know, regardless of that, you know, this person who you know, seemed to be, like I said, a person of integrity, seemed to be somebody who was clear and wanted to be you know, effective, and was as respectful as they possibly could have been, regardless of the situation, and knowing that they had already kissed you and built some kind of rapport with you and were taking you on a date. Maybe the reason why they even linked up with you was because they wanted to see you face to face to confirm, and then when they saw you in the daylight, they were like, okay, hold on, something ain't right. Like, you know, maybe that was the whole need, because obviously that person is on the prowl for maybe a relationship or something, and wanted to go about things the right way. I don't see anything wrong that person did at all. I don't. In the same way that you talk about communication, you could have communicated, just to make sure you guys were on the same page.
But I don't know, y'all. I, again, did not expect all this discourse and people just having all these opinions. But I'm just wanted to clear some things up for everybody. That way that we are all aligned, we are all in tune, and yeah, we're all on one accord now, okay? And for the people who are like, I'm so glad that you're safe and it could have been much worse, I agree. Thank y'all so much for the love and the support. Like I said, there was like a split second where I was a little scared, because I was like, why are we pulling the car over? However, he was a gentleman, he was kind, he was nice. He brought me back home, and that's the most respectful thing that he could have done. I'm not saying that was the part that was wrong. That wasn't the part that was wrong. To me, the part in all of this that was wrong was that you had an inkling a few days ago. You could have cleared that up ahead of time. It could have saved us all of this weirdness, awkwardness, me spending time to get ready, and you having to drive all the way over here to waste gas to like come get me, and then preparing to take me out to dinner. So that's it. That's all. Okay, I hope everybody got it all cleared up. If y'all have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to get in the comment section if you'd like. But yeah, I just thought that I would get that off my chest.
I know y'all see me over here shaking my head, and the reason why, you don't need to be worried about that man's gas tank. Okay, if he's not concerned about it and decided that, you know, it was a wasted trip and he didn't have no problem taking you back home, it should not be your concern. What the reason why I'm nodding my head is because what I'm actually gathering is that you shame. That's what it is. You shame. Embarrassed, humiliated, feel small, feel belittled, probably was gassing it all up to your homegirls in the group chat like, ow, you know, we about to go on a date, even though you said you wasn't that interested. Clearly you were. And you're humiliated and embarrassed by the situation. And you're trying to hide that shame and embarrassment by using words like fear, or using like you were scared, or making it seem like, you know, it's so dangerous out there, and telling other girls to be careful, you know, when in actuality it's more of you don't know what to do with that level of rejection right up in your face. That's what the real truth is. That's the real truth. So regardless of all the other antics, that's the belly of the situation. But you the one who told everybody. Like, nobody wouldn't even known. You the one who told everybody. You could have, what could have stayed as a small embarrassment in the group chat has come onto public platforms all over. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game. And the more and more that this person talked with no makeup on, like I said, with the hair and stuff, the more that I'm like, I could really see how somebody would think that this is a woman. For sure. Like 100%. Like, it's just like I said, a strong woman, maybe a very athletic build woman, maybe, you know, a bodybuilder kind of woman, but definitely a woman. I could see how people would easily see that. I could see how, especially in an evening, at a club when you're dressed a certain way and your makeup and all that kind of stuff, I could absolutely see. Now, again, I don't know if it was the social media. I don't know if it was something that came up in conversation that sparked his interest, but he had no idea. And then, like I said, I think he was like, let me see this person face to face just to be sure. Saw you and was like, okay, no, I got to ask because something ain't right. And you would have never told him. You would have just waited till maybe intimacy and then been like, oh, you didn't know? I thought you knew. How he supposed to know that? And then your complaint is communication. Okay. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.